Hello and welcome to my new channel, Just a Geek in the Garage, where we talk about tools, toolboxes, comparisons, reviews, 3D printing, organization, and everything like that. Today I wanted to start off with a garage tour and toolbox tour so you can see what I'm working with. I'm going to go through, a lot of the drawers so you can see what I have. If you guys have questions about anything specific, you want to see any comparisons, reviews, things like that, please leave it in the comments, and we can, look at that for future videos also. We're going to start off over here on the left side. We got Vader and the Stormtrooper, the animatronics that Home Depot was selling for the holidays last year. Moving over here, we have a 52-inch Husky toolbox. We have a 56-inch US General toolbox with 2 side lockers. We have an old Craftsman USA setup with a workbench and 2 toolboxes on the sides. Couple of 3D printers up here. Another Craftsman toolbox for all of my filaments and other 3D printing items. And then a little 3D printing tray with a bunch of tools that I use most often. And then last up, we have a 5-drawer tool cart from US General as well. So my main work area is actually going to be right over here. So why don't we start here? So as you can see, I have another 3D printer here. This is my Elegoo Neptune Plus, great printer, prints large volume on there. I have a lot of little tools close at hand, so I don't have to go digging for them. Some T-handle hexes, Doyle screwdrivers, multimeter, some magnets, a lot of lights everywhere. Some power tools. I have a glue gun and a 3/8 drill from Ryobi and a 3/8 M12 from Milwaukee. Starting up here, we have that little mini toolbox from, I believe this is a Kobalt one. A little snap-on hat on top of it. Some lights over here. More magnet trays, paper towel holder, another small toolbox, Harbor Freight. So as you can see, we kind of represent, all tool brands. I have a little bit of everything from Pittsburgh to Snap-on. So, whatever's your flavor, I'm good with that. So let's start off with the top drawer, as most people want to see. And as you can expect, you're going to see most of my ratchets and sockets in here. Left hand side is going to be pretty much all Icon. So we got the general service sets. We have the 3/8 and the 1/4 inch that come with pretty much everything you're going to need: shallows, deeps, metric, standard, a ratchet, extensions, adapters, things like that. Going around, you're going to see a few things on magnets. Got a 1/4 inch flex head Icon, a 1/4 inch fixed Icon. This is a gear wrench bit driver. We have a Pittsburgh 1/4 inch and 3/8 ratchet, a 1/2 inch breaker bar, long extension up here, and then another Pittsburgh 3/8 and 1/4 inch ratchet there. In the toolbox itself, or in the drawer I should say, some adapters. We have impact and chrome. We have the Allen wrenches with the wobbly extensions. We have ball end hex in metric and standard, regular hex in metric and standard, triple squares, and what are these again? And these, Torx, I'm sorry, Torx. We also have the Icon, the little meme tool. I have a few of these laying around in different places because they tend to be very, very useful. More ratchets from Icon, the 3/8 and fixed and flex head, and same thing with the 1/2 inch. And have also the 1/2 inch speeder extension, which is great when you're changing tires and things like that. I have a Quinn digital torque adapter that can be put on any ratchet or breaker bar to make it a torque wrench. So instead of using the regular click style that I have, I typically grab for that one. As you can see here, it's going to be mostly Pittsburgh. A lot of their different ratchets, flex head, indexing, swivels, all that kind of stuff. So you can kind of take a look here as I'm going around to see what I have. And then these are the main used ones in the middle. And then this is a little tray I saw on the Toolbox Tour channel, which is a great channel. Kind of got me started into looking to making my own. This has my 3/8 and 1/4 inch extensions and adapters, and then 1/2 inch extensions and adapters. Honestly, typically I grab the ones right here, so they're there in case I need a different size. Going on to this side, the first 4 rows that you see here are going to be a very old Craftsman USA sets from probably the mid-90s. Has shallows, deeps, 3/8, quarter inch. Still have the quarter inch and 3/8 ratchets with them. This set has treated me very well over the years. Almost 30 years old. Haven't lost one or broken one, and hope that I don't, because I prefer to keep the older style than the new ones that are no longer made in the U.S. Moving up, we have a Kobalt universal spline, Pittsburgh socket. Spark plug socket set, and then a couple of these, commercial tools that you see that work every once in a while, and then pretty much everything else in this drawer is going to be Pittsburgh. So we have hex in, you have Torx and e-Torx, hex in metric and standard, spline in metric and standard. This is that colorful set that they have. This is everything in their quarter inch and 3/8 shallow, deep, metric, and standard. So everything is right there. These I'll probably end up giving away at some point. But they were useful when I had them. Barely got any use. I usually grab the icons when I need something. And then last up is the 1/2 inch. No chrome 1/2 inch, only impact, because usually if I'm grabbing 1/2 inch, it's going to be for a job that requires an impact. So got shallows here in metric and standard, and deeps in metric and standard. So that's the top drawer. Let's move on down. As you would expect, next drawer is going to be wrenches. Pretty packed. Basically the way I have my setup, as you can see, it's mirrored, the left and the right. Right side is going to be all metric, left side is going to be all SAE. Pretty much identical sets on both sides. So why don't we start off on the metric side, since this is kind of where I use everything, and again it's going to be just simply mirrored on the other side. So we have this large set from Gear Wrench, the combination wrenches. Awesome set. Has pretty much everything from 6mm up to 32, just a very few skips. And then on the SAE side, it's like 1/4 inch to 1.5 inches. So it goes very large. Moving down, we have a set of Duratech crow's feet over here. And then let's go to the middle. This is Pittsburgh V-Groove set, another large set. Pittsburgh offsets, Pittsburgh crow's feet. And then over here in the middle, you're going to see Gear Wrench ratcheting combination wrenches in the regular and the stubby. So again, everything I just mentioned is also mirrored to the left in SAE. And then going to the back wall is going to be, in the middle is the flare nuts or line wrenches from Pittsburgh. And then the other 3 sets are going to be Husky. We have Husky spline drive, Husky stubby wrenches, and then just the regular combination wrenches. These I've had for 25-30 years, have treated me very well also. Okay, let's move on down. Next is going to be kind of a pliers drawer plus some other miscellaneous stuff. Just kind of a quick overview. Starting over here, we have pretty much all these shiny red handles here, here, and then under here, all going to be Icon. Pretty much all the pliers that they currently sell that I'm aware of have a few sets of Doyle. They seem to work very well for what they are. So this set right here is all Doyle, a couple precision Doyle. Over here, have some Irwin water pump pliers, Irwin vice grips. Moving up, we have from here to here is going to be all Knipex, so different sizes and styles, but the main styles they have: the alligators, cobras, twin grips, things like that. Moving here, these are Engineer wrenches. Engineer, if you don't know, are made in Japan. They are also rebranded in the U.S. as Vamp pliers, but to my knowledge, the same basic, same basic pliers, but they just make them in red for the U.S., but I prefer the green, as you can tell from the rest of the garage. So I have some scissors, some electrician scissors from Doyle, some regular scissors from Quinn. And then moving on, this is going to be kind of my Mac section of my drawer. So we have a bunch of Mac pliers right there. The Mac RBRTs in both SAE and metric. These are great pliers, definitely not everyday pliers, because they're 6-point and they grab very tight. But if you have a rounded off bolt or fastener, they're great, and they're going to get them off. If they can't get them off, nothing other than an extractor will. Moving down, we have a couple of 1/4 inch service sets from one from Mac, one from Craftsman. They're owned by the same parent company, so they're very similar sets. But basically, here, I'll grab the Mac so you can see, and then the Craftsman is pretty much just mirrored. Give me 1 second. Always hard to open with one hand. There we go. So have like a little driver, ratchet, 1/4-inch ratchet, metric sockets, metric bits, extensions, adapters, things like that. I decided to pay the extra for the Mac for the metric since that's my most used, and then decided just to go with the Craftsman for the SAE since I don't grab them that often. A couple of Quinn pliers, similar to the old Robo grips from Craftsman if you guys are familiar. And then below that we got some wrench extenders, and then some Crescent wrenches from actual Crescent USA, and there's a Proto one USA below that also. Moving down is going to be screwdrivers. So I got screwdrivers from most companies you can think of. Honestly, don't really grab screwdrivers from just a drawer very often. If I'm grabbing a screwdriver, usually it's going to either be on a drill, impact, or a ratcheting screwdriver. But sometimes you got to get into places that one of those things will not get, and that's where this drawer comes in handy. So my newest set is going to be this Mac set right here. A great little set. I've been trying them out here for the last month or two. Would definitely recommend them, especially for the price over the Snap-ons. Even though I love the Snap-on Instant Grip for brand new pricing, these are great, but you know, honestly my go-tos are going to be a Snap-on Instant Grip that we'll see in a later part of the video, or possibly a later video. So anyways, let's go through this. So we got the Mac, we have the Icon, both the mini set and regular and Torx. Their instinct style handle on the Icons. We have the Craftsman diamond tips. Below that is a set of Quinn screwdrivers. We have the Pittsburgh bolstered screwdrivers. And then below the Mac is going to be a full set that's honestly almost brand new from the mid-90s from Craftsman. Again, Craftsman USA. This one looks new because I actually had bought this plus another set back then, and the other set is the one that ended up getting used mostly, and you'll see parts of that throughout the garage. Because they're kind of, you know, they're great screwdrivers, but the handles are not the best for nowadays. All right, moving on down again. We have, I would call this the specialty wrench drawer. Similar to the wrench drawer above, this is going to be mirrored. Right side, the black stuff is going to be all metric, and then the red's going to be standard. Most of the stuff in here is going to be Icon, unless I mention different. But we have the offsets, the stubbies, the S wrenches. And I apologize if I interchange pliers and wrenches, but for some reason I do that. But you can tell what I'm looking at. Down here is going to be their flank drive plus equivalent, the anti-slip, and below that is a regular flank drive without the anti-slip on there. So all great sets. As you can see, I keep things in their cases because when I'm grabbing one of these sets to work on something, you know, I'm not in a rush like most mechanics because it's DIY. So I'll grab the set, do what I need to do, put everything back just to try to keep everything nice and, you know, clean and things like that. Moving over, we have a couple sets from Duratech. Duratech is a brand I found on Amazon. Good reviews for stuff that's kind of specialty that I'm not going to use that often. Let me give you an example. So they have this set of double ratcheting and box wrench. Oh, I'm saying that completely wrong. Sorry. Double box and ratcheting wrenches. There we go. Have the metric underneath, the standard on top. Don't grab these that often, but when I need them, they're great to have. Didn't want to spend a whole lot of money. And again, the reviews seem to be very, very good. Also have a set of their super thin wrenches in case I need to get to some place that a regular wrench can't get to. Below that, they have their extreme stubbies. Also have a couple sets of the V-Series, the older V-Series Craftsman wrenches. These are similar to the RBRT since they were made by the same parent company. The difference is these ones don't have the actual RBRT technology. They're just regular, but these are great for grab and go because it's a full set in a case. You don't have to know exactly what you're working on, and you can find what you need. Next up is going to be my actual torque wrenches. I have a couple of 3/8. I'm sorry, a couple of 1/2 inch, a 3/8, and a 1/4 inch. Again, don't grab them that much since I have the Quinn digital one. Last up on this side is going to be kind of a catch-all. Again, a couple more specialty wrenches from Icon. Got their 4-way angled wrenches. I have their pick, radiator, hose remover, cotter pin remover set. Their regular small picks. Underneath, I have their crow's feet in metric and standard. And then there's 3 sets of T-handles. There's a Torx, a Allen in SAE, and an Allen in metric. Hiding behind here is going to be the S-type wrenches, or pliers, I'm sorry, from Icon. These 12, 17, and 21, I believe, and a couple of their snap ring removers, or snap ring pliers, the 12-inch, the inside and outside, hiding back there. I don't use them that often, so that's why they're back there. And then here, as you can see, I have a full set of Icon hammers. I have the ball peen, I think it goes 16 to 32, and then their regular dead blows from 16 to 48. Also have a set of anti-vibe Mac hammers, which are great little hammers to have. And then a little pass-through set right here from Pittsburgh in case you're working on something and a deep won't fit where you need it to. Moving on, here is the power drawer. So it's a little bit of a mess, but in here I kind of run four different ecosystems of tools. I probably shouldn't, but you know, every time I see a new ecosystem, I end up jumping in when there's a good deal. But I would say my most used is going to be Ryobi. They're the 18-volt line. So I have, you know, a couple of chargers in here. You also see another charger in the locker. I have my Milwaukee. I have Craftsman. And then I also have Bauer, which is not in this particular drawer. Some extra batteries for all these things I just said. Some extra flashlights. You're going to see a ton of flashlights. I tend to buy way too many, but they're always good to have. A little custom charger here that I made for a tool that you guys will see either in this video or a future video. I'll explain when we get there. And then last up is going to be the drawer for some of the more used power tools. So we have a 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch impact, a 3/8 drill from Ryobi, and then a 1/2 inch drill and 1/2 inch impact from Craftsman. These are the brushless ones. Below here are going to be tools I don't use quite as much. Got a multi-tool, routers, 3/8 ratchet, saw, things like that from Ryobi. So that completes the main box. So let's move on to the lockers. As you can probably notice here, you've seen these S logos, these Snap-on logos. These are actually 3D printed. That's why I kind of see them all over the garage. It might be a little bit of overkill for some people, especially considering the boxes themselves are not Snap-on. However, I have quite a bit of Snap-on tools, so you'll see that here soon. Alright, so these lockers are fairly new to me. Just got them a couple months ago, so kind of working out the kinks on how I want them organized. But as you can see here on the door, more Icon flashlights. Some of these OEM tools, collapsible magnetic trays. Some of my boxes here. Some of these are empty for the tools that are already in the toolbox. Some of them do have tools for grab and go. So for example, I have my serpentine belt. This is the case for the Craftsman USA socket sets. This is the case for the Icon General Service 3/8, and then the 1/4 inch is hiding behind that. So if I ever got to grab them, I can take the foam, grab the boxes and go. A little Maddox trim tool remover, fairly new one. This is a tool from Amazon. It's Dyson, I believe is how it's pronounced, or Dyson, but they are double flex head combination wrenches, both metric and standard. Great to have to get into places that, you know, a normal wrench can't get to. Over here we also have some multi-spline removers and some 5-inch snap ring pliers. One of the main reasons I got the locker was for larger tools like this drill press that I only need on occasion and didn't want to have just sitting out in the garage. A couple of extra chargers here for the Ryobi and the Bauer systems. Moving down, another tool that I use, you know, rarely, but it's nice to have, is the bench top grinder from Bauer. I also have a little 2-inch cutoff saw, which is actually a lot more useful than you would think. I have a Quinn 3/8 impact set in standard and metric, so great for grab and go as well. And then this is the rest of my snap ring pliers from Icon. This has a full set of 7-inch and 9-inch snap ring pliers. Moving on down, as you can see, old pancake style air compressor. Barely ever use that now that I have mostly power tools, not air tools. And just some miscellaneous stuff like lights and old screwdrivers. And then last up here on the very bottom is going to be kind of my ancient tools. They're all corded. So I don't use a lot of corded tools anymore now that the battery systems have gotten so much better than they were in the last 20, 30 years. But, you know, as a tool guy, I hate to throw stuff away. It could be useful at some point in the future, or it's something I'll let somebody borrow if they need some tools. All right, next locker. So up here, as you can see, is going to be mostly chemicals, paints, things like that, lubricants. Some boxes kind of hiding back there for things I don't really use. I have some Snap-on memorabilia over here. Down here, this is actually kind of a very useful shelf. This is basically where I have a lot of grab and go stuff. So I have a couple of Snap-on ratcheting screwdriver sets with a bunch of bits that you can take with you. I have a precision screwdriver set from Snap-on that you can take with you. And then I have this little bag that a lot of people don't talk about from Snap-on, where it's literally called the grab and go. You just put whatever you need, take it around the house or the car, and you're good to go. Moving down, I have a bag for my Milwaukee power tools. I keep the drill out, but in here is going to be the impact, the 3/8, the hacksaw, and the light as well. I have, again, more kind of grab and go stuff. I have stuff for my Dremel here. I have that new grip edge set, which is, I think, 120 plus pieces or bits for rounding bolt prevention. And then, some precision tools in here. And then lastly, in this locker, again, just like on the other side, a bunch of old corded power tools that are not used that often, but are definitely nice to keep and have just in case. And then just, some levels, rulers, things like that. So this ends part 1 of the toolbox tour. Next part of the toolbox we're going to go ahead, or next part of the garage that we're going to go ahead and look at is going to be this 52-inch Husky. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe.